My name is Shane Christenson.
And my name is Kim Christenson.
And this is our story. I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. But when I was 8 years old, my mom moved us to Southern California, where pretty much ran the streets with my brother unsupervised.
I grew up in a little town in northern Idaho, where I lived with my mom and my two older sisters.
When I was really young, we went to Sunday school at a Catholic church, but other than my first communion, I don't remember much. And after we moved to California, I stopped going to the church altogether. God back then really didn't factor into my life at all.
I grew up in a Nazarene church with a strong faith. I was baptized at 7 or 8 years old. We were usually at church at least 4 nights a week. It was a safe place for me, especially since my home was not safe at all.
A family member gave me my first beer when I was like 9 years old at a wedding. By 12 or 13, I was smoking pot and drinking, which led to pretty much any other drug I could get my hands on. I didn't drink because I liked the taste. I drank to get as intoxicated as possible to escape reality and my childhood trauma. I became the life of the party, but no one knew that I was actually dying inside.
In 7th grade, our church choir went on a tour for a couple weeks during the summer. We traveled on a chartered bus, and we sang in different churches every night. Those trips were some of my very fondest memories.
In my early 20s, I left California for the big city lights of Miami. My partying went from bad to worse. I ended up bartending and living for myself and what I wanted. I got married and then I got separated. I finally needed a change of scenery, so 5 years ago, I moved to Vancouver to help open a gym. I went from living the life in Miami's fast lane to living at 5 miles an hour, Vancouver style. I got up every morning at 4 a.m. to open the gym. When back in Miami, I would have been just getting home from the bar partying.
When I was 16, my mom was diagnosed with bone cancer, and she passed away when I was 19. That same year, I got pregnant with my daughter, Katie, and while all my friends were partying, I was working and trying to learn how to be a mom. I kept trying to get back into church, but the loss of my mom made it all too painful. I eventually got married and had my second daughter, Raina. I started attending church again, and while I had several incredible experiences with the Lord during that time, my marriage was struggling. When I realized that we were going to end up divorced, I left church to avoid the embarrassment.
I met Kim the first day that we opened the gym. Immediately put a target on her because she was the most beautiful woman that I ever laid eyes on. Of course, she ignored me for the first 2 months, which made me try even harder. Once we started dating, we were inseparable, but I had no intention of going to church with her.
I met Shane right after my divorce and thought it was the worst time in the world to meet someone. Right away, I was attracted to his energy and how great he is with people. Everyone loved him. He was confident and outgoing and all the things I am not. And because he was raised by a single mom, he was very, very protective of me and my kids. Once we started dating, that was it. But I still wasn't a part of a church family. And then COVID hit. Between remote school, working from home, and the gym being closed, and all of the negative input from mainstream media, things were very tough. I could feel the war raging within me, and I started questioning what I believed, what I stood for, and even how to be a mom. That was a scary moment, and I knew my daughter and I needed to reconnect with church.
When Kim brought up the idea of going to church, I really wasn't too thrilled, but I was also ready to do whatever it took to get our family healthy again.
Tried out a couple churches near our house, and then we tried C3, which was meeting in the converted garage studio.
When I first walked into that garage, I knew there was no way I was coming back for a second visit. Pastor Steve he delivered the message, and I was intrigued, and I agreed to go back.
Everyone was so friendly and genuine. Shane heard Pastor Steve talking about riding side-by-sides in the wood and shooting guns. I think he was surprised and excited to find out that Christians are regular people too. And for me, after 2 services at C3, I felt like I was back. I felt permission to be a mom again. I was reminded that God had not changed. I was reminded of who I am and where I stand.
I was just going to church to support my family, but I was going through the motions. And then something began to shift inside of me. I was intrigued with these people, who they were, and all the great things happening in their life. I decided to ask Pastor Steve to help me learn more about Jesus. He handed me a book called Following Jesus, and we started meeting together every week to go through a book. In a few weeks, I was sitting in my living room with my wife, Steve and Rowena, and that's when I said yes to following Jesus.
Watching Shane say yes to Jesus was the coolest experience. I never thought that would happen, and certainly was not expecting it that night.
I'm still trying to figure out how to be a Christian every day. But I'll tell you this, since I said yes, every aspect of my life is elevated. Kim and I got married, we launched our own gym, we are much closer, and we have a lot more friends, good friends. We are blessed all around.
Since we've been a part of the C3 family, I have been so challenged and I am growing. I love the time we spend with our church family. We love volunteering and learning and worshiping together. I feel God is truly healing my scars. I'm learning to navigate through life without fear. I'm learning my home is now a safe place. I'm learning to overcome my anxiety. I can hear the voice of God. I feel His guidance, and I know that I'm not alone.
Being a part of C3 has brought our family closer and has made our lives better. I was tired of living my life just for me. I'm learning to serve others. I enjoy going to church, and I look forward to hearing the message every week. And I find that I'm using the things that I learned to lean into a relationship with God. In fact, I'm excited to get baptized as my next step in my chapter with God.
It's been almost 40 years since I was first baptized, but I'm looking forward to getting baptized with my husband and to that outward symbol of recommitting my life to God. I'm Kim Christenson.
And I'm Shane Christenson. And this is our story.